The title slide fades in. The Computer Center for Visually Impaired People at Baruch College and CUNY present the 11th Annual Conference on Visual Impairment and Employment, Policy and Practice, Take Action, Friday, April 13th, 2018, 9:20 a.m. On the left is a picture with 10 advocates in CCVIP t-shirts at the Disability Pride Parade. At the bottom is the Baruch College CUNY logo on the left and the CCVIP logo on the right. Coming up, opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 11th Conference on Visual Impairment Policy and Practice with Baruch College, Computer Center for Visually Impaired People, and many others. Welcome. And welcome to all our streamers. This is a fabulous thing. We've never been able to do it before, so we're excited that you all are with us wherever you may be in the world. Isn't that stunning? It's really, really, really great. We have lots of people to thank, and I want to mention a couple of special guests who are here that I'd like you to just acknowledge. One is Ms. Rachel Pardo, I believe, is here from New York Community Trust, who's been an important funder of CCVIP over many, many years. So, Rachel, thank you so much for being here. And we also have with us Susan Olivo, who is with Reader's Digest Partners for Sight, which gave us a very, very critical grant for this event today. So, Susan, we're thrilled you're here. Thank you. And I'll just say that Susan expects everybody to take action as a result of this event. Okay, so you don't get off scot-free today. So I do have tons of people to thank, and I think it's important to do it. Our supporters, we're always grateful for the Mark School of Public and International Affairs, and their dean, David Birdsell, is with us. You'll hear from him in a couple minutes, but they're a great supporter and have been since day one. Also, the Commission for the Blind is here, which has also been a sponsor from very early on, and we'll hear from Paula a bit later. We have Rizicki and Associates with Craig Wolfson is here. Let's see, we have the Jolson Family Foundation. Thank you to Barbara Fife. All these folks who help us. And we have a new sponsor this year, Australian National Bank Limited. Anita Steele is here, so a special welcome to Anita. And as always, we thank the Hidden City Cafe, Veronica and friends. They provided your Java and other assorted goodies. And we do also thank Michael Cush and the customer service people of Blind Line. So let's give this bunch a big hand. And let me mention the conference planning committee. We have Gus Chalkias, Brett Eisenberg, Roberta Felice, Debbie Fitterer, Barbara Fife again, yes, because she does that with us, and Judith Gerber, Peter Herrick, Nancy O'Connell, Bill Reed, Lisa Saunders, and Vern Vergara. That's our conference planning committee. And for support, we have Madeline Gilbo, who's in our office picking up strays and making sure that they get over here, which is very important. We have our instructors, Rick Fox, Lynette Tatum, and tutor Maria Rios, who've been helping with proofing Braille programs so they don't send you to the wrong place. Yep, thank you. And we have our valiant advisory board, which I'm thrilled. Iris Rosen, who flew back from meeting her new grandchild from Oregon last night to be here. So thank you to Iris. And then we have, on this board, we have Matt Krieger, Philip So, Sandy Kuprat, Craig Wolfson, and Jane Thompson. So we're very, very grateful to all these folks. We're also really grateful to the conference center staff, yes, for them. And then, as I said, we're really grateful as well to the our tech team, which we have one tech team assisting on the streaming, and we have another one assisting on our London connection. So this is all very exciting. So we thank everybody, Stella and Dana and Oliver and Greg Hernandez and Mohammed Rihan. Let's give, and Joe Albanese and Victor Peralta, one big real shout out for all these guys. And I'll ask Mr. Reed, our conference coordinator, did I leave anybody out? I did? Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone. And now I want to give you a chance to hear from a couple of folks who were kind enough to join me up here to greet you. I would first like to introduce you to my boss. So her name is Ann Clarkson. She is the Associate Dean for the School of Continuing and Professional Studies, which is our home here at Baruch College and has been for a whole number of years, since about 1996. So please give Ann a warm welcome, and let's just hear a couple remarks from her. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back, more importantly. It's great to see all the familiar faces and a few new ones. And these are your morning remarks from the evil boss. And I use that term very lightly, but because in truth, we all report to Karen at the end of the day. I'm up here. First, I want to get the logistics out of the way, and thank you all for coming to the conference once again, and to remind you how important it is for you to visit the vendors and all of the sessions, which are once again exceptional this year. It's really an inspiration each time I see the creativity brought to this event and to the industry in general. But I'm up here today for a slightly different reason, and to make an announcement that Karen is quite unaware of. So this will be a surprise for her too. Her team this year has made a special surprise for her, and I think it's illustrative of their dedication to her, but more importantly, their recognition to the contributions that she makes every year in every way and every day, when she's here at Baruch and to this industry. So in an effort to recognize that, they made the executive decision to rename this conference. So this year, the conference will now be the Karen L. Gourgey Conference. They're not the first ones to recognize, nor are they the last ones to recognize her exceptional work in this area and the contribution she's made to this college, to the people in this room, and more importantly, to the students that have come through the door of this institution and many others throughout her career. And really, she's an inspiration. And she may call me her boss, but she's truly the person I answer to on the phone. When I see her call, I know she wants something, and if I don't give it to her, there's going to be trouble. And, you know, she really has been an inspiration to me since I came to this college, because the entrepreneurialism and the spirit in which she attacks her job and the services that she gives to her students is what really I have always aspired to, and I try to get my team to aspire to on a daily basis. In this environment, in any environment, but especially in Baruch's environment, you just simply can't take no for an answer. You know there's a prize at the end of the day, and that prize is getting a student the education and the services they need so that they can succeed not only in the classroom, but more importantly outside the classroom, and support themselves and their family. And that's really what this is all about. That's what this industry is all about. And Karen has done that for her entire career and has made such a fundamental change in so many lives. And that's really why this conference has been renamed the Karen L. Gourgey Conference. So I just want to say, I think she all deserves a standing ovation for this one. I give it back to Karen.
And now, we are being joined today by Paula, and I don't have my piece of paper, so I'm going to say it wrong. Say your last name again. Paula Napa-Fakara, and forgive me, that is terrible, but Ann got me shook up, and so I left my, cheat sheet on the table. It's Ann's fault. Anyway, Paula is fabulous. She's been coming here for a couple years. She's a district manager of the Long Island office of the Commission for the Blind, and Paula is here to give us a few remarks on behalf of the Commission, and herself, I hope. Anyway, thank you, Paula.
Good morning. I know I'm the person with a lot of names and a lot of vowels, so I think I'm just going to go by Paula from now on. Cher does it, so I'm going to do it. Good morning. On behalf of the New York State Commission for the Blind and Associate Commissioner Brian Daniels, congratulations on the 11th annual CCVIP Employment and for Employment and People with Visual Impairment. CCVIP is a very important partner of ours, and we want to take this opportunity for Karen to acknowledge all your leadership skills in the field and take this opportunity to really acknowledge all your advocacy and what you've done for technology and people with visual impairments in the field. Because of that, CCVIP is one of the cutting-edge vendors that we use for services. You can imagine for Associate Commissioner Brian Daniels and Jason Eckert and Peter Eckert not to be here, there has to be a good reason. They're being holed up and sequestered in an office in Albany for the 6-year review from the Rehab Services Administration. I'm sure we'll come out winning and stellar and still be in existence, but one of those regular things you have to do to keep the money flowing, so otherwise they would be here. But today's theme, take action. Even though I'm a district manager, I'm a rehab counselor by training, and the rehab counselor in me is saying, yes, let's make this happen. Let's take this opportunity for us to work together to gather our information, as much information as possible from technology, from inspiring successful employment practices, and from networking to set a plan in place that allows you to move forward and achieve your success and your goals. We can level the playing field by getting together, using technology, creating a plan that works for us, and allowing you to become successful in your employment goals. And I can think of no other place for it to happen here at the Commission for, at the Commission for the Blind and for the CCVIP, of course. It's a team, actually it is a team approach. I was told not to mention something, and Karen swore me to secrecy, but I am a Red Sox fan, so she told me that. So, but I didn't watch my game. In respect for New York, I did not watch the. Karen thought I was not a native of New York. I said, no, I am. I'm just an anomaly. I'm sorry. But I can assure you this is going to be a wonderful conference, and I'm looking forward for today's event. So please enjoy, and let's gather information and take action. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Finally, this morning, I'm very grateful and happy to introduce to you a gentleman who I bet has been at almost every one of these conferences. It's Dean David Birdsell from the Mark School, who has been a friend of this center at least since the 90s. He spent years on the advisory board, and he's smart enough he's not on it now, sorry. But truly a helper, a supporter, a partner, and just a really energizing and inspiring person to be around and to have as a colleague and a friend. Please welcome David Birdsell.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see everyone here, to feel the energy in this room. To all of our friends who are joining us via the live stream, we're so delighted that you could be here, since you can't be in the room specifically. But I think when you hear the panelists and when you get a sense of exactly what people are up to, maybe next year you'll be able to put yourself up here on the 14th floor of the vertical campus at Baruch College. Thank you, Karen, for those kind words. It has, in fact, I was just reflecting on this yesterday evening in preparing my remarks today, been a quarter century since I first became involved with CCVIP. And I can tell you that it has been a relationship born of extraordinary commitment, the commitment that I see on Karen's part, on everybody who's employed by CCVIP, and the kind of work that CCVIP does across the length and breadth of its programs. Now, as Karen mentioned, I'm Dean of the Mark School of Public and International Affairs, and public policy is our lifeblood, thinking about research in public policy and about teaching people how to manage organizations and ultimately to implement policies. And I'd like to remind you, as we read the full title of the conference program here, policy features prominently. Employment is important for all of the reasons that Ann talked about, for all of the reasons that Paula talked about, and we should take that seriously, even though she is a Red Sox fan. That, you know, in terms of independence, in terms of the health of communities, in terms of returns to the tax base and all of the things that we all want to do. But policy goes beyond employment. And I think we should be aware that that's something that CCVIP has always taken seriously. Whether it's the creation of new technologies to facilitate people's ability to participate fully in education in the workforce, such as the Talking Tactile Tablet series, such as the audio guides that once populated Penn Station, and may once again once we get to Moynihan Station. But ways for people literally and figuratively to navigate their communities and their lives. When we think about what Karen has done here, and there is always an elected official, or often many elected officials here at this conference, she understands that people succeed to a certain extent by asking for the assistance that they require from the officials who are elected and paid for the purpose of providing that assistance. It's a message of empowerment, and it's something that's led to the creation of audio street indicators, often some in this very neighborhood a little bit to our west, but ways that Karen has helped rebuild the physical infrastructure by making the needs of this community plain in City Hall and in Albany. And when we think about the broader context of an aging population, what we know to be a certain increase in the level of visual impairment among the population, including the employed population, that it's important to get out in front of the policy process and help our elected and appointed officials understand what's going on. Karen's work, CCVIP's work, has clearly been about all of these issues in the context of visual impairment and service to the community participating in visual impairment, whether as visually impaired people themselves, partners, spouses, sisters, brothers, employers, etc. But I want to underscore that Karen's message and CCVIP's message applies to each and every one of us. What do we need? Who influences our ability to obtain what we need? What do we need to know, and whom do we need to know to ask effectively, consistently, and powerfully for what we need? And in doing that, we are not just advancing our own interests, we're advancing community, we're advancing the ability of this city, this state, this nation, and everyone across the world to do well in their lives, their professions, and everything that they entangle with themselves with in the course of their lives. These are important commitments in any civil society, and there is no better illustration of that work than the work that Karen Gourgey and CCVIP does. So I'd like to conclude with a note of gratitude, which is where Karen started off today. But I'm going to thank Karen. I'm going to thank everybody involved with CCVIP, all of the supporters, all of my former colleagues on the board, most notably Karen herself, for working so assiduously over such a long period of time on this absolutely critical set of competencies and orientations that benefits every last living soul in this city and beyond. Thanks very much.
David Birdsell was mentioning about the importance of knowing people who are elected and with whom you can speak about your needs, and in front of whom you can put the issues that are so important to you. And we've been very lucky to be visited again this year by somebody who really, really embodies that. She was actually the first keynoter that we had in our conference all the way back in 2008. And friends, I really would like you to help me give the most humongous shout out for Borough President Gale Brewer. Gale, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. It is a real honor to be here, and every year this conference gets bigger and bigger. And I have to say, so far, Karen, the honorees are phenomenal, and that's a real credit to you and to the center. And in talking to this wonderful commissioner, we know that in New York City, as big as we are, this center is incredibly important, as is this conference, because you're unique. You are the backbone of so many innovative ideas that come out of technology. And as I always say, whenever you're helping one group of people, you often help another. The Commissioner and Karen know that I'm a huge techie, so anything that has a technology front, I'm all for, because it is changing all the time and helping people. Technology is to help people. It's not for technology's sake. And this center has been the embodiment of that kind of effort. So I just want to thank everybody. It's not just Karen. She'll be the first to tell you. There's a lot of people who've been involved, and congratulations to everybody and to the students who are here today, because they get something out of it even though they help. So, you know, I have a very minor record in terms of the work that we've done, but certainly working with Karen and others, we worked on the signals that are hopefully the accessible pedestrian signal program. It has been a slow road in the sense that trying to get the Department of Transportation, with all due respect, to make sure that we can cross all roads safely is a challenge, but we're working on it. We passed legislation, as they say, Karen used the word way back in 2012. I've been around so long, that sounds fairly recently. And that was only 25 accessible signals, and now with Council Member Mark Levine in 2014, we added another 75. It's a slow pace, but at least it's going in the right direction, and I expect everybody to push your elected officials in the council to advocate for more, because obviously there are more than a few signals that are needed in the city of New York. So I just want you to indicate, as Dr. Birdsell stated, Dean Birdsell, advocate and fuss. It's a good thing to do, and certainly signals are one thing to fuss about. I'm going to give Karen a proclamation in a minute, but you know, in 2005, when I was in the city council, I was there for 12 years, we did do a Braille, and I'm afraid this one isn't, but that would be another thing to fuss about. When people give out proclamations, they should be in languages that people use, and I just want to throw that out. Something very special. When I was in the council and now as borough president, I'm a big believer in fresh fruits and vegetables. Not that I eat them all the time, but I know I'm supposed to. And I'm also a believer in helping the farmers, both at the green market and, of course, those that are around the metropolitan area. They have a hard time, and every time we have fresh fruits and vegetables through the green market or Grow NYC, we help the farmers. And so we actually have been, from the tip of Manhattan to the bottom, working in the senior centers to make sure that for $8 they have fresh fruits and vegetables every week during the growing season. And I want to say Visions has been one of our very best customers. And I want to thank you. And the weekly produce guide is in large print and Braille, and those individuals, just like I do it every single week also, because I can pay $8, so I do it. In our office, in the borough president, you know, what in the world does a borough president do? We work mostly on zoning and land use, which has to be the hardest topic. Commissioner knows, as hard as it is to deal with human services and issues regarding technology, fighting for affordable housing is perhaps the hardest thing in our entire city. So we do a lot of that, and I wish I could say I was more successful, but we're working on it. We appoint community board members, and we try to take disability into account. If somebody wants to be on a community board, please let us know, because we work really, really hard to make sure that those issues are addressed in every community. We have 12 in Manhattan, 59 in the whole entire city. We also allocate funding, and of course, we pass legislation. But everything, I'm a really bad elected official because everything is a priority. You know how some people prioritize, but certainly the concerns that Karen and you are advocating for today, we don't put them as disability or senior or commuter. To me, if you have a barrier, let's try to figure out how we can overcome it. And that's always been the way in which I try to operate as an elected official. We can resolve issues when we work together. This conference today is an example. Unfortunately, you can't ever stop having conferences because it's a big city. You know, we're the 4th largest in the United States. We're bigger than, the United States is bigger, okay. California is bigger, okay. The state of New York is bigger, okay. Guess who's next? City of New York. Forget Pennsylvania, forget New Jersey, forget Illinois. They're all smaller. So your being here today is an example of how you need to solve problems because we're so big that we need to have these discussions. So I'm honored to be here. Just like, poor Dr. Gourgey probably has so many accolades which she deserves and proclamations, but I want to just give her this proclamation which says in part all the things she accomplishes all the time. The MTA has talking kiosks because of her advocacy. As you know, she's a worldwide expert on this issue, and she's worked really hard with us on this pedestrian accessible signals, both with the city and with the governor. She is an honoree in many different locations, but to me, more importantly, with the lab, with CCVIP, she has become she has made it a Microsoft Education Award. She got that award. This issue of figuring out how technology can really help individuals is a challenge. And it only happens when you have a lab, when you have people who are trained to work in it to assist others. And I can't tell you how difficult that is. I do have a sense of how difficult it is. So I, Gale Brewer, as your borough president, hereby commend Dr. Karen Gourgey for her contributions that are ongoing to our city and proclaim Friday, April 13th, 2018, Karen Gourgey Appreciation Day in the Borough of Manhattan. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. I just hope we all become one big advocacy engine together and not let nobody get away with nothing.